To start, you need to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. You use egg white, oil, salt, vanilla, sugar, and flour. To prep our pan, put down some oil and then put a pinch of flour. Now put all of the egg yolks into the mixer and mix. You're going to mix for about 4 minutes. Then add in the sugar and let it keep mixing. Now stop the mixer and check it, and then pour it into a large bowl. Now put the salt in the egg whites and mix for about 3 minutes. As it mixes, add the sugar and let it keep mixing, and then you can add the vanilla. Now put the flour through a sieve to remove all of the lumps, and then mix up until it's fully combined and add 1/3 of the egg white mixture. Then mix and keep adding in thirds until it's all gone. Pour it all onto a pan and put the pan in the oven. Then take it out and let it cool. Once it is cooled, unwrap the wrapping on it and cut off the top layer and the bottom layer. Now you're going to cut off all of the 4 sides to make sure that there's no more skin. Now you want to cut through the middle of the cake and make 2 separate layers. Set this aside. Now you take your next cake and then do the exact same thing, but now you're going to take a ruler and measure to 6.5 inches and make a cut. And then set that piece aside and use the other piece to make a 2-inch strip. Put that on the other strip and cut off the edges. This will be used later, and set these both aside. Now, to prep the pan, put the largest piece in the corner, and then take the second to largest piece and put it next to it. Now you take the 2 strips and you set them on the sides. Then take the small bits and cut them into pieces to fit into your remaining part. Then you're finished. To make the pastry cream, you need milk, butter, vanilla, salt, chocolate powder, sugar, 5 egg yolks, and a chopped up 4-ounce bar of chocolate. Start by putting the egg yolk in the stand mixer with the sugar. Put down the head and let it whisk until it's light and airy. Now add the cornstarch and let it keep whisking. Now over at the stove, put milk, butter, vanilla, and salt in a container and let that melt over medium heat. Whisk constantly to make sure you do not scorch the milk, and bring it up to a simmer. Now, once it's up to a simmer, take it off the heat and let it sit for about a second to make sure it's not boiling. and then start pouring little bits into the stand mixer while it is running. If it's not running or the stand mixer isn't going quick enough, then you run the risk of letting the egg cook and making it curdle. Now pour the entire mixture back into the pan and then whisk with a whisk until it leaves marks and it turns it into a pudding-like consistency. Now take that pudding and put it through a strainer over some chocolate. Use your spatula to push it all the way through so that it will start to melt the chocolate. Now once it's in, you mix it around with some chocolate and chocolate powder. Now pour it into a Pyrex container and cover it with plastic wrap to make sure that there won't form a skin. For the soap, we need milk, sugar, and chocolate powder. To start, put in the milk, sugar, and chocolate powder into a container and mix it up with a spoon. You can use the same container many times to make the desired amount you need. Now to set up the entire cake, you take the top layer of the 2 slices of cake that we made earlier and set them aside. Now take your soap and soak the entire top layer. Now put on the pudding and the rest of the cake and soak again and do the same. And then put on a whole bunch of raspberries. Thank you for watching my 21st century project. If you enjoy, I will give out recipes at the end.